And it's time for Tox to take on Raisy in our fourth matchup of the night here over on the Quake Pro League. This one, in reality, could go one of two ways. Raisy could just walk out there absolutely swinging like he normally does and completely behead Tox. Or you've got the potential that we get that superstar Tox that turns up and we get an interesting game on our hands that defies expectations.
We need Tox to be on form now. Like, this is the time he needs to really step his game up. We know he has the potential and the possibilities to do that. We know what he was like back in the old days. He was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And he still is now. It's just a matter of sometimes he has those inconsistencies. But we need to see an on-form Tox. If we don't, it will be the struggle bus for him, which will be riding throughout the course of the series. And I feel like if he doesn't, it will be a 3-0 for Raisy, but I don't want to call it because I know Tox has that potential to seriously do some damage here across the board. But what kind of Tox are we going to get today? That is the real question we need to ask ourselves going into this match.
Well, the one thing you can guarantee is, for the most part, he's fun to watch. He's ferocious. He's enjoyable to witness him on the server because he plays with such a chaotic style. It's all about speed, it's all about carnage, and it's about hitting those crazy, fast, flicky rails. I'm excited to see that. If that comes to the surface tonight, it's always enjoyable. This man can be a beast when he's feeling it. Although, talking of the beast, and we will summon him, here he is, Raisy, a living, walking nightmare of Quake to face up against. He has been going from strength to strength. 2 second place finishes so far in the Quake Pro League at LAN events in Luka and in Katowice. Going forward, Harry, is there anything this man can't do?
I think that's the real question here. With his playing style, he has multiple styles of play. He can be in your face, aggressive. His aim will be absolutely on point when necessary. Or he'll play defensive, great rockets, great rail control, and it's seriously difficult to try and get anything going here. He's the kind of person who bases any kind of situation or scenario on percentage. If he has like even the slightest chance, he'll go for it. Even if it's 60-40, 55-45 in his favour, he'll always try and make sure he always comes out on top, or at least have a slight advantage no matter what bout he comes up against.
Well, for me, it's also the fact that he's innovative, he's cheeky, he's crazy in the way he approaches the game that I feel like is an extra edge that some players don't quite have, in the sense where Raisy will actually take that downtime, obviously, as well as practicing, as well as scrimming. He spends a lot of time just inside of the maps looking for different potential edges, different jumps he can do, different Galena places with the totems. Some of the stuff that he's cooked up is pretty damn crazy.
Yeah, he's a massive grinder. He's one of those players, it's very hard to kind of expect, well, it's like expect the unexpected with him. You've got to make sure that he ain't going to play like anyone else. His styles can change rapidly depending on the circumstance, and his champion picks as well can be very smooth.
Oh yeah, he pulls out some crazy champion picks. Let's see if he's had any tricks up his sleeve that he's whipped out for tonight's matchup though. Alright, good. Tox has gone for the smart play. He's banned clutch straight away. Just in case. You never know. It's still a bit scary.
I'm not surprised. You know, with Raisy, with his clutch, it's an absolute nuisance. He'll always get in your face no matter the stack he has. But does have the Galena to help him a little bit on Awoken and see where his placements are and what he'll do with it. Corrupt to keep, well, let's be honest, Raisy with that mega area, when he abuses the map geometry on every part of the map, especially that bottom mid on the mega, it's just so hard to keep him off. And even with the Eisen as well, it's the turret placements. He knows exactly when, how he should be doing it. And Blood Run, my word, at least with the Anarchy for Tox, he stands a very good chance. But even with the Ranger, it seems like Raisy's got a little bit of a plan up his sleeve for the items.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, that's the one rough part to look at, right? Is obviously it's Tox's map pick, but from a lot of people it's touted as Raisy's keep purely because it's the fact that he is absolutely ridiculous on it. That could be quite a fun one to get into. Awoken, again, for me, that's more of a Tox map in the sense that he does enjoy playing it. You can see him be quite flashy, but you can never take it away from Raisy. Some of the carnage that he's caused on that map on LAN, online, consistently, he's always had success on Awoken. It's something that he does enjoy playing. It's hard, though, because you look at every map in the pool, and it's just like, well, Raisy really enjoys all of these, and I think that's just because he seems to just live Quake champions. It's in his blood.
I feel like it's more, in terms of the map picks, it's pick your poison against Raisy, because what can you play against him on? Like, maybe a Ruins, maybe a Blood Covenant, but even then, it's very difficult. Blood Covenant's already been banned, and Tox has known that already. He's known that it's one of his better maps in terms of how he actually picks his fights and doesn't hesitate, kind of like Nosfer, on when and what situation to go for. So with Tox, he needs to just play his game, play how he wants to, and just be extra cautious on what Raisy could be up to, because he could have anything up his sleeve. Even if it's not the fact that he's even saving it for the finals. He's doing everything he can throughout the entire stage and still has extra room for information to save going into the finals.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting part, right? Is Raisy really is the definition of just playing to win. He just plays at his absolute best and approaches the game as he would normally. Let's find out, though. We are ready for the opener here. We're on Awoken. Tox will be starting it off for us. It's his point of view as he's on the Galena up against the dastardly doom of Raisy.
Yeah, we'll be in a bit of a pickle with that Doom, of course, with his double jump, managed to get across the map a lot easier than he expects. But Tox now just playing it a little bit safe. It's very fast paced to begin with, just to make sure he gets all the weaponry and the items he can be. He managed to go back up anyway. I think he's just trying to be a little bit unorthodox with his play, but already now Raisy gets that first frag on the board. Very clean from him.
Yeah, nice opener into this one. Just 35 seconds into the game and already he's starting to chip away and whittle down what stack Tox does. Luckily, he got himself the mega health, but actually, I thought he was going to go down there. I don't know how he's been able to recover from that and actually get the kill back on Raisy, Harry.
I'm not going to lie, from that angle and that high button, it is a little bit hard with the LG. I think Tox knew that and decided to take the fight even though his stack was much lower. But what can Tox do here? Yes, he will get another frag on the board. With the heavy coming up now, and we'll try and fight for the mega, but let's be real, we have to see what happens. I think he's going to try and go for it from a different route, but he knows that anyway. He's come straight and walked straight into the totem. Oh my word, is he going to try and take him down? No, he doesn't. Look at the health of Raisy. He just barely managed to get out of that one and survive to fight another day. But Tox, what's his next move going to be? Surely he needs to keep up the momentum he's had from the first frag he got earlier. But first wheels on the board. He's going to go for a second. Yes, he does. And Raisy again managed to barely survive. But those totems are going to definitely could be a massive help for Tox here.
Some really nice bits of damage have been thrown out from both of our two opponents right now. Tox has been hitting some good rails. Raisy, he's going to have to slow it down a little bit. It's a good showing from Tox, but he's still got a lot more to do. Obviously, still early doors. He's got a 1 frag lead here, Harry, at 2-1 apiece. Finds himself a light armor to at least begin to rebuild and stack. Heads over towards the heavy. This could be uncontested if he drops down, which he will. Grabs it. Now he has an advantage, but he needs to hit these shots as Raisy is just destroying him when it comes to the rail.
And even if Raisy missed that shot and Tox hit it, it will literally be probably on like 4 HP, something ridiculous like that. But he's trying to survive out of this one. Managed to get one. He's trying to get the LG and he's got the rockets as well. Tox is going to try and take the fight anyway. Surely he can't survive this. My words. And Raisy, he should not have. Oh, that is unspeakable to say the least. Tox, even though he was on a slim of health, he still had the opportunity to try and get something going there, but it wasn't the case. As another rail there, just adding insult to injury. He's going to push straight in, but some nice try bolts there. As let's be real, Tox's LG has been phenomenal, and it's keeping him alive in this game.
Yeah, it's the saving grace that he's got. This is where it is going to be a little bit touchy-feely as Raisy. Not too much HP to work with. His stack was starting to get staggered and knocked down relatively low. Tox was definitely in a better position, but luckily he's able to scavenge a couple of small items that will replenish him. Tox actually does find the frag as well with the LG, so this is good. It's a much better position to be in. Equal stack, though. So the worrying thing is, who's got the confidence to strike first? And it seems like it's Tox, as Raisy turns the corner with such confidence, such speed, but the only thing is, he goes headstrong straight into those rockets and gets sent down to the Nether Realm.
This is the Tox we exactly wanted to see. Just been a real thorn in his shoe on the stage, and my words. Slowly extending this lead. This is what we wanted and what we hoping to expect. And is he going to be able to survive? He knows that heavy's up. He's trying to bait him out for it so he can get some more LG damage in. And he's done enough. But he needs to be careful and try and replenish his stack. But still with that tri-bolt being a massive nuisance here. Raisy, a huge stack again. So Tox needs to be a little bit cautious about his next move.
Something nice as well, that's actually just quite a small thing from Raisy, is although he's only used it in situations where it's like, well, you might as well just pop it and bust your fists out to see if you can stay alive. Normally, when you see people rocking the Doom, right, they don't really actually use the active ability that much, and you can't deny any hourglasses. Obviously, if you're up against a Galena, that means there's going to be way more totems. He's used it a couple of times here already, which could actually be a smart play just to try and deny more hourglasses from Tox.
You're absolutely right. It is rare to see. You don't really see it used for the aggression to attack, but more to get away. And even then, it's rare you even see that. But he has been using it a little bit to his fortune. But as I say that now, he's... Oh my word. I was going to say that if Ray didn't get out, I would have been shocked. But the fact that he was in a trade, Tox is very lucky at this point. But he's been playing phenomenal at the same time. Tox, the stat, that first rail was so necessary. Look at Raisy's LG. And even then, Tox still came out on top. His rail, this is what we want to see on Awoken.
That is crazy. That's actually absolutely ridiculous. The fact he's been able to hit those off so consistently, just not give a damn about the fact he's got Raisy swinging at him, coming straight towards him. This is a huge position to be in. 7-5. Wow, now 8-5 as he punishes Raisy. Lights him up with the LG. The crazy bit is, though, you can never count this Mount out. It might be 8-5, you might have started to build yourself a bit of a lead, but unless Tox can keep this going throughout the entire rest of the game, Harry, for the next 4 minutes, then this is going to be still a hard-fought fight. It's only an uphill battle from here.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned at the start before the series, it's all about the consistency of Tox. But even then, like, during the matches, if it's a consistency he can deal with, in terms of like they have a good first map and the momentum, then he can go forward from there throughout the entire series. If he doesn't, then it can be the complete opposite effect, just a barely missed rail. But Tox has still been doing very well so far, keeping Raisy on his toes. But the stack of Raisy is looking slightly better. But what can he do there to try and abuse that? He must get a few rockets on board, but the LG is looking not too bad from Tox too. But will he get that Mega? He's going to bait it out, gets it, takes the fight anyway. And my word, that rail was ridiculous. Can he finish him off here? No, he doesn't. Raisy barely managed to survive for the skin of his teeth to get that frag.
Raisy. Still got so much more left to do though, and time is beginning to tick away. Luckily spotted out that totem, will be able to take it down as he's going to pop it away with a rail. Starts to fall back. 7 minutes now have gone by. Ooh. Close miss as he would have been able to get a bit of a tag off, just barely seeing a sliver of his head as he turned round the corner. Raisy waiting, trying to set up a little bit of a trap with the rocket, hoping that he was going to be pushed by Tox, as they're both too timid to actually dive straight into the Mega. He'll pick it up once his health has been knocked down ridiculously low. Raisy still quicker on the draw when it comes to this Western standoff right now. And Tox begins to fall back. What?
What was that? My goodness, how is he still alive? Finally, Tox gets taken down, but he made that so difficult for Raisy to even get that frag on the board. But you saw there Tox was baiting him out until the Mega respawned. He managed to get it and got some phenomenal rails. Again, another one. Raisy looks to be on form here. Tox needs to be careful. Don't let him get too carried away because it can go all downhill from there. That heavy is coming up now. He's going to try and get it as he goes for it, but instead he's going to go for him anyway. Takes him down, gets the heavy, and Tox needs to think about what he should do coming up next.
If we get the replay of that rail, if there is even a way to slow it down enough to be able to see that, because that was just horrifically fast. I don't know how on earth he's been able to land that. I didn't even physically see him turn the corner.
That was literally a pixel pick, but the LG fight will happen. Raisy is definitely winning this, but my word, how is Tox still alive? He must be on at least 1 or 2 HP. Both decide to back off, which is completely understandable. Oh, but goes for the risk. It goes, what a rail there from Raisy. We thought he was going to head back for that heavy. No, that was not the case. And again, another rail. Will he go for that second one? No, I think he thought to himself, let's calm down a little bit here. We've noticed the situation we're in. Let's just make sure we've done the chip damage. Let's try and restack.
What is this madness? The things that are occurring here are just absolutely ridiculous. It's now into a 9-8 situation, and Raisy, where is he going to go? As he leaps himself up, back onto a pedestal, puts himself on a heightened angle. The rockets get exchanged from both of them. 60 seconds with a 1 frag difference. This is incredibly tight, and there is still a chance for Tox to be able to take it, and this is the start for him. The opener he needed. It's all just down to this now. It'll either go to a sudden death if they don't find the next frag, or there is an opportunity for him to build off the back of this. Equal stacks across the board, though. And Raisy, he knows it doesn't matter if he takes damage here, he can replenish it from the Mega. Instead, just going to grab it right now and begin to reposition.
He was being very patient with that rail. He wasn't too sure if he was going to try and bait him out to go for that Mega, or if he's just going to wait and stay behind. But the movement from Raisy then proved But he had to make those shots count, but it wasn't the case. But it looks like we'll be going to OT possibly if neither one of these players make the execution they desire. But then again, Tox is being annoying about top mid control. But as I say that, the LG comes in. He will have the Mega, so this is his time to try and push in and try and get something done. But Raisy's still fighting for that top mid control. Very aggressive from him. And even now, what is Tox going to do? Is he going to try and flank round? Is he going to try and bounce up? We'll have to see what he can do here. But he's decided to play it safe. Wait, he's already doing good enough as it is with the stack. But if it gets this heavy, Raisy needs to seriously be on point with those rails.
We're in the sudden death. It's all up to this next frag. This is what everything is riding on. Beautiful use of the Tri-Bolt there from Tox to do a nice amount of splash damage from a distance. It knocks off a lot of HP from Raisy, but he buffs it straight out by snatching away that Mega. There's still 10 seconds until Heavy's up as well, so that extra armor isn't going to be buffing anyone just yet. Although, with the way they've gone on this split, Raisy could get over there relatively quickly. Tox now in a good position to be able to punish him, though. Damaging from a distance. He can drop down, secure the Heavy. He's got a totem in close proximity as well. And this is already a minute into the sudden death, Harry.
He doesn't seem to be messing around here. He so badly wants to jump top mid to try and grab that control, but Raisy's doing a good job to not giving it, but he's only on 5 HP. Surely not. He's trying to get away with whatever he can. He must get a rail off on himself. And 55 HP, how both his players are still alive now is unheard of. But both of them at the average tank, but Raisy looking a little bit better as you go forth. But what will happen when he's fine? He surely needs to back down. Yes, he will. But surely Raisy's going to try and chase after him. But look at his stack now. Oh my god, 4 HP. The tone will help a little bit, but how far can he go? He knows Raisy's going to try and chase him down here, Jack.
This is absolutely crazy. The fact we've even got into this position. Tox barely staying alive, just giving himself blood transfusions off the back of the totems when he's able to run into them. And here's the full dive. Raisy knew that he just had to commit to a fight. He had the better stack, and he had the confidence to go out swinging. Dives in for the full frontal assault in close proximity and shuts him down.
Both players were around that 5k damage mark. They were just in each other's faces constantly. The fight for top mid, even for Raisy when his stack wasn't that great, he was still making sure that he was showing the presence there, making sure that you're going to be in trouble if you even go for that Mega or try and bait out. There was so many little things there which really gave it to Raisy, but my word, there's nothing really Tox could have done at the end. Raisy's stack was way too high. Yeah. Raisy could actually take some defensive rockets if need be, just push in and try and just finish the job and get the job done, or else we know what Tox is like. He can easily clutch up.
The confidence from Tox, though, on the fight he went for, especially when he sprung out here towards Lightning Gun Room and just nearly actually did enough damage to really put the pressure on, right? It was a crazy aggressive fight to go for, knowing that it was either that or he was going to be in a disadvantaged position the entire time. Went for it, lands a sickeningly good rail. It's just unfortunate that he couldn't actually foresee it through and close it down, because he played really well, especially against such a hard opponent.
I don't even think Tox needs to reset his mentality here. He played phenomenal. That could have gone either way, considering the circumstances both those players were in during that last minute before OT. And as you can see, you said it before, but you don't really see it too often. Getting challenged with that attack. But Tox, I wouldn't worry about it too much. He's proven now that he is on form during this match, but just needs to be a tiny bit careful with what kind of executions he wants to make. But his rails have been ridiculous.
Talking of absolutely ridiculous rails, some of the ones that Raisy were whipping out were just mind-boggling with the fact he was actually able to land them. One of them, I'm pretty sure it's coming up soon after this. Like the fact he was able to pull it off, yeah, it was so quick, like just crazy fast. It was madness that he was able to do it.
I think most of those frags could have gone either way, though.
How did he hit that?
I think we may have to maybe do it frame by frame to see exactly how he did it.
We'll do an hour-long breakdown to look into it, because it's madness.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, but fair play to him, to pull. Shows what Raisy had to do there. He had to play out of his mind to even get anything going, and he did. Even when his map presence wasn't looking too great in some areas, he was always getting those defensive rails to pick him off, to try and put Tox at an unease. But even then, Tox's LG was ridiculous. There were some fights both these players should not have taken and ended up actually managed to win, but this is going to be the way we were talking about before, and just barely managed to get it. Ridiculous.
Quite literally pixel sniffing. That's mind-boggling. He actually must be inside his monitor because there's no way. I don't understand how he's actually been able to hit that. The reactions of Raisy are unprecedented.
It's just Raisy in a nutshell, really,
It's
isn't
mad.
it? You know, every time I watch him play, I thought, you know, we've seen everything. It's textbook. Surely he can't do any more. And when you see plays like that, you just think, you know, you're not really too surprised anymore. But he makes these miraculous plays out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The reaction times, the aim. He is the prime Quake player in one little package.
Yeah, I agree with it. He's got everything up here and he's got the aim as well. So, you know, you can't really go wrong, can you?
It's madness. No ego as well. It's just, you know.
He's a nice, humble gentleman.
He is. He's a good lad. I'll
Yeah.
give him that. He is a bloody good lad.
He's a lovely guy,
Yeah.
you know.
He really is. And he has caused some slaughter and absolute chaos there on the first map. Both of them did, really. Tox kept it absolutely competitive close the entire way through. The fact that went down for sudden death on Awoken, that is a map that I'd say both of these players are very formidable on. It's by no means a map that you can, you know, look at them and go, nah, you know, they struggle there. They both enjoy a bit of Awoken. They do normally thrive on it, and they both have. Great for Tox, though, in the sense that that's a close matchup versus Raisy. A Raisy that's looking pretty damn good as well when it comes to his aim from some of the shots that he was hitting. Going forward, is that going to be consistent? Can he keep it up throughout the rest of the series, Harry?
Well, this is the real question we have to ask ourselves, because we said it before the series. It depends what kind of Tox we've seen. If he has a good first map, normally it follows on throughout the entire series. So Raisy will need to make sure he continues to play it out of his mind, because if he doesn't, then we've seen what Tox is like. There's some stuff he just should not got away. But it's LG. That's the one thing we need to talk about. Doesn't matter if he's not at a height disadvantage or advantage anyway, he managed to pull it off nicely. And I think Raisy's realised that he needs to be careful with the certain fights he takes and make sure that if he is going to somehow, some way take him down, he has to have a reasonable stack, because even then, Tox, being at a disadvantage in most areas, seems to manage to pull it off no problem. And it makes you question yourself, thinking, how on earth is he getting away with it? He shouldn't be.
Well, that's the crazy part, is even on that game on Awoken there, some of the actual shots he was going for, normally, it's quite an outrageous peak to go for. He was taking fights and facing things when it's like, your stack is so low. The risk you're running on this is like, it's mad. But he was doing it so confidently and so nonchalantly and still hitting the shot that it was like, well, actually, you've got yourself back in the game there. Like, fair play.
Yeah, no, like, you know, I wouldn't even say commiserations or anything. He was very close. He did deserve that win, but then again, so did Raisy. But it is the map which Raisy loves. It is Corrupted Keep. What can Tox do to retaliate? It's going to be very difficult, but we'll have to see what he can do. But as we see now, Tox does have the rockets in hand, is going to play it slow to hit for those audio cues. He gets a little bit of damage to start off with, but he doesn't have the LG to complement it. But then again, so does Raisy. Raisy does have the LG, but will he go for it? No, he won't. He's just going to back down for the time being.
Normally touted as Raisy's keep, because he genuinely will raise hell on this map. Tox, though, started off nicely into the series. Can he carry on with that trend? Ooh, this is a little bit awkward so far. Taking a lot of damage. His stack's really been knocked quite far down already. And he is being punished from a distance. Raisy's been able to get a nice couple of shots off to be able to whittle him down. That lightning gun just consistently tagging him as he turns the corner. It's not a fabulous start.
I love how he baited those health orbs as well to make him push up, but instead he doesn't anyway. But the first bout will come in, and Raisy managed to cleanly finish him off. But we've got to remember, Raisy, he's seen as one of those players who is a gatekeeper on Corrupted Keep, and it's very hard to kind of get him off any position. But look at the speed and the pace to make sure he gives Tox any kind of trouble he can. And that's a good turret placement as well. At least it'll feed him some information, but the LG battle will begin. And as I said before, Tox is very good with that LG, and even Raisy had a bigger stack, he still comes out on top. Tox, I would love your LG.
He's mad good with it. This man is an electrician, Harry. Like, he comes in, he gets the job done. Oh, the double LG. 2 guns are always better than 1, but 2 rockets mean suicide. All right, well, the way the fight's gone, at least, it's put them back on a 1-1, so it's not really a disadvantage, but it's definitely not an advantage.
Definitely not, but Tox does have that heavy, so he's definitely in the bigger advantage. It depends on how he wants to go about this. But it does keep him at bay, and will waste his turret straight away, but will feed Raisy information to his whereabouts. And will decide to push in anyway. He's only got a rocket, so what can he do here? Raisy's little favourite position. He likes to abuse that map geometry, but he hasn't got the stack enough to manage to do any damage there. So Tox, after the fabulous start we saw from Raisy, it doesn't matter. But again, loses out on the Mega, but does plenty of damage to him. But will he be able to take it now? Surely not. Yes, he does. Tox, my word. looking great at the start of this map.
That is crisp. So effective. The tracing coming through with the lightning gun there was absolutely show-stopping. Looking really quite beautiful. This is an awkward fight between the two of them, though. Trying to get the kill from behind the statue. Tox finally backs off and calls it quits there as he starts to restock himself on a couple of the bubbles. Will pop the akimbo, essentially at this point, as a little bit of an exclamation mark to prove that he wants the Mega and to scare Raisy to stop him from fully committing to fight towards it. Rockets raining down from above. It's an unfortunate push for Tox, and he will finally fall as it goes 3-2.
Even then, Raisy was still struggling. Did you see his stack afterwards? It just shows that Tox, he just barely misses. He's got to be seriously careful. Do you know, I would say to Raisy, keep him away from the LG. You should be fine from the afterwards, yeah. But it doesn't seem to be the case. But then again, Tox isn't really too fussed about it anyway. He's happy to stick with his rockets, to keep him at close quarters, to make sure that there's certain positions he cannot get to. But what is he going to be his next move? That heavy will come up in the next couple of seconds. Raisy will pick that up. Tox will, of course, know that anyway. But we'll get some more damage done here. It's just Tox's aim is just impenetrable right now. 45 HP left. We'll get a little bit to push for another day. But can Raisy take this fight? Yes, he will. Finally wins one of those LG battles. But then again, he still took a lot of damage from that. As, oh my word, Tox is still trying to go in for this fight. He's trying to finish him off, but I don't think that's going to be the case. As Raisy must keep him at bay, gets the Mega, and the chase is on.
Raisy. Heavy's just come up. His stack is now miles above anything that Tox could muster up into that fight. So he's going to really just rip him to pieces. He crumbles relatively quickly. He's now quick on the chase as well. Raisy, he's starting to get fired up, Harry. And if you give him confidence, it will be so hard to shut him down. As soon as he comes into his own, he absolutely lives his movie as he gets the double rocket off straight into the super shotgun to leave Tox sleeping with the fishes.
He's looking ridiculous right now, and the timing of the items for Raisy is advantaged in his favour. As soon as he gets the first one, like the Mega, he can go for the heavy straight afterwards and still have plenty to replenish afterwards. But look at that, Tox is going straight in. He's not messing around. He knows that he needs to equal the aggression balance between himself and Raisy, but now he's got the LG. He can still get something done here, but he does have the shotgun, so can do a little bit of damage. It isn't the case, but picks up the Mega when it's most necessary. And now he's on the LG. Tox has to be careful, but as I say that, Tox still comes out on top. Phenomenal aim. His accuracy is seriously on point. But look at this again. Tox taking him down just barely. My word, that is definitely a way, one way or another, to come back in this game.
Yeah, the super nail gun, given the advantage he needs, he's just going to pepper spray him and leave him riddled with those nails, and then finish him off in close range.
Oh
the double LG as well. Really going to be hitting home there as the Akimbo assault comes through. He's going to leave him lifeless on the ground. Potentially another frag as well, as it looked like this was almost an 8-6 already. Tox, HMG, not going to save him today, unfortunately.
I don't remember the last time Raisy was this pressured on Corrupted Keep. Tox is just doing a phenomenal job, and I said it before, with the first map, because he did so well and he played his own formings on his own game, he will continue it on, and he has done. His accuracy has been so good. Pushing forward, but he's going to try and retaliate once more. Nice tri-bolt shots there. He's going to get more information. Still getting more shots off. He's got to drop down for him anyway, but sadly didn't switch the gun in time, and Tox will come out on top on that bout.
It's very clean stuff right now that we're getting coming through. Tox pops the double LG. Busts them both out and looks to try and eliminate Raisy. Does a nice amount of damage, but he's much worse for wear when it comes to overall stack. There's about 20 seconds between both of the major items as well, so he can't really quickly replenish himself. Oh, the only thing he can do is get overthrown by the HMG and fall back to the floor. Although, from the spawn, potentially here, he could have a nice advantage.
Yeah, with that Mega picked up now, he's definitely going to back away and try and see what else he can do. He managed to get the heavy, which is one main factor. At least managed to get something going here. But look at the LG from Raisy. He's equalising the accuracy now with Tox. And my word, that rocket, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that's definitely one to write home about. That was nice. Caught him off guard just at the right time. Oh, the follow-up as well. There's Tox. Oh, he tries to evade it, but there's not really much you can do. Raisy's in a prime time position. He's going to be able to strip the flesh from the bone there.
Oh my word, if he didn't get that Mega, that was so close. But I can see what Tox is trying to do. He's trying to go for the trade on spawn, but he's just not giving him the opportunity. The items are timed perfectly in the favour of Raisy to manage to replenish and manage to come back forth and be healthy into the next fight. But the LG, my word, yeah, you're absolutely right, Jack. Raisy is looking on form now, leading to this halfway stage of the map.
Yeah, Raisy's back into it. It's definitely starting to drill home the reason why this is Raisy's keep, as he is beginning to slaughter Tox in every given firefight. The LG just looks crazy on point now. Tox is going to go down this time, unfortunately, suiciding on his way out through the door. 12-7, and this is 8 minutes in. Time is ticking away. As close as Tox was keeping this is when it really starts to balloon out of control in favour of Raisy, and at that point, it gets so hard to come back into it, because what can you do?
He was just basically trying to trade off whilst Raisy's weak, because if he doesn't trade him off, he's going to get the items and then he's going to get carried away, which he has done. So fair play, I understand his thought process on what he wanted to do, but it might be a little bit too late now. Yes, you may be able to get 6 frags in the small time limit he has now, but I think it may not be enough. The stack of Raisy seems to be too good, but if he gets his heavy, he can change, but it doesn't matter now. Raisy gets to heavy, tries for the fight. Of course he's going to force it out. Tox taken down once more. And it's a real shame. Tox was looking so good. He's going to try and force out the fight again with the nail. Doesn't matter. It looks like Raisy has equaled the accuracy of LG with Tox's.
15-7. The fact he's basically got double the frags now, well, even more. It's rough for Tox. It was such a close affair for the first few minutes of the game. It actually looked ridiculously competitive. It seemed like we were going to have another Awoken style affair on our hands, and now it's just all the Raisy show, and he is just running away with things. Frag after frag, high octane speed as well. He is fragging with style. This is some sexy Quake.
It is just fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is lovely. Like, you know, it's quite rare you see this, but like even on Corrupted Keep, I knew at some stage one of these players will get carried away, but I didn't think it would be this much. It was like, what, 6-7, 7-7, and now Raisy's just completely gone off on one and just not giving him any room to breathe. And now he's trying to face some of these fights, but I think Tox knows it's all but lost here. There's absolutely no way to make the comeback. But then again, Tox had a very good start, and it's just such a shame that he lost it a little bit with those forced trades.
Yeah, I mean, it was close, and the confidence was definitely the aspect that I think that was catching Raisy off initially for Tox. But at some point, that's not going to last, right? There's only so long that you can play so confidently versus someone like Raisy. And I think we found our drawing point there. 10 more frags accumulated for Raisy over the course of Corrupted Keep. Damage-wise, actually really close. 100 damage difference, basically.
15 megas, 11 heavies and 25 light. My word, that is just outstanding. He was just everywhere, and it's just the worst thing was Tox. His aim was superior in most of those bouts. Sometimes he didn't come out on top, so he didn't have to stack, but even then he was putting on the pressure. His movement, it was those forced trades during the halfway point of that fight, not the fights, but during that map. You could see that he wanted to try and trade him off and then go for the Mega afterwards. But even then, in some of those fights, the Mega would spawn or the Heavy would spawn midway, and Raisy got it every single time. So he was constantly thinking about it rather than taking the bouts.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's also why like the damage numbers are so close, but obviously that doesn't really tell the full story, because it doesn't matter if you're able to do that much damage. If he can instantly buff that out and heal it, because you were saying mid-fight, he'd basically get the Mega every time. Obviously, at that point, it's like, well, what can you do? You might have been able to hit like a crazy amount of LG, but that stacks instantly back, and now it doesn't matter. He's got the advantage into the fight, and he'll be able to shut you down. Raisy just way better with the control game and just being so sneaky in being able to scavenge away all of those major items, and even just the basic items as well. With the amount of lights he picked up, I think he just starved Tox out.
Yeah, it was basically battle for nutrition in terms of actually starving him out. You saw there that Raisy had all the timings in his head, making sure that it just got to survive a little bit longer here and there. It will take the fights, but does Tox know? Would Tox even risk going down? Maybe a couple of times Tox should have at least dropped to force the fight, so at least that way he can stop him from getting the Mega. But I think what Tox's game plan was with the LG, he'll use it enough to force him back from some of these items, but it wasn't the case. There's a couple of missed shots here and there, and it's very difficult because we said it before, the geometry of that part of the map on the Mega, Raisy abuses it so well to make sure he can pick it up even if he gets tackled down.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Two maps going the way of Raisy so far. Awoken and Corrupted Keep, both of them have actually been relatively competitive in the grand scheme of things. Obviously the scoreline of this one, if you took a glance at it and didn't see the game, you'd probably just assume it was a blowout from the start. But actually, fairly competitive until basically around the halfway point. And then the Raisy show started to occur. We now got onto our third and final map between these. At this point, it's looking more like obviously what you would kind of expect. Pretty much Raisy looking to be able to 3-0 the series, but at least Tox has actually kept it close.
Yeah, if he continues this form, but throughout the stage, he should be at least a top 4 or 5 in EU, no problem. He's been doing so well, and yes, you're fair enough. The last few minutes went straight down the pan, really. It wasn't really his cup of tea in that sort of sense. But now he needs to at least try and get this one map on the board to give him not the momentum, but the confidence knowing that his gun skill is just still phenomenal, one of the best in the league. But, you know, it's no point if you struggle to contest some of these items, and you've seen that quite a lot where he knew it was coming up when and when, but the problem was he's relying on the LG to push his opponent back to at least try and take it, and you saw that quite a few times. I mean, at least 3 or 4 different occasions, but you saw Raisy would always prioritise the items first mid-fight, where Tox would think that, you know, I should be able to take him down before that even comes up. So some very minor errors, but Tox, from what we've seen so far, even though he's 0-2 down, he's been looking very good.
Yeah, it does definitely seem like he's been rolling back the years in a lot of these potential fights we've had. Although, this is a map that could really throw all that up in the air, especially as now the railgun is back into the mix. And that was quite a key part of Tox's arsenal over on Awoken. That's a sick way to open it as well. Really smooth, clean entry frag there from Tox.
I do love Tox's anarchy. The way he laps the map and his aim is still on par with everyone else's, no matter what speed and pace he's playing at. It's just a beautiful sight to see, really. You know, I've seen some sights in my days, but that is definitely one of them. But what can he do here? He's giving control of the items very well as we speak about, but he's going to try and bait out the Mega, but it's not going to be the case as he will pick it up. But then again, Raisy does get heavy, but managed to catch him off guard, gets the direwolf down, but Tox managed to clean him up nicely. Only 30 HP.
2-0 already for Tox. This is a great start. And potentially as well, that rail being back in circulation here could be a bigger aspect into the game than at first thought with the amount of damage that was done with it before. Although you talk about it and it's going to come true. Raisy, from a distance, ripping everything that Tox had basically off him. Some beautiful rocket work though in response. And another major item snatched away from Tox. And things are getting rambunctious already. These railguns are really starting to prove their worth.
And he tried to make Raisy think that he was going straight for the heavy, but instead went straight for him. He did not expect that in the slightest. And Tox now is railable. He's going to try and back off a little bit, make sure he's got enough health to make sure to survive at least one in case he needs to get away, which he has done. But is he going to continue fighting, trying to get one rail off before he gets away? But this is the thing with Blood Run. It's very cat and mouse. It's very difficult to try and make a comeback if you're 1 or 2 frags down. But this is where Tox needs to kind... Oh, as we say that, the LG does get taken down. But he's still a frag ahead. He can play the defensive game. Maybe make him chase about here and there to see what he can do afterwards. But so far, Tox is playing Blood Run how you should do. It's just a matter of what Raisy can do with the orb to try and catch him.
Raisy. One frag away from tying it up, and that's a nice way to set yourself on the right course for success. Big damage done. Tox's stack is so low. Dire orb across so he can scavenge himself that heavy straight in. Should be able to pick him to pieces here very quickly with the LG. As Tox that low and just having HP, that LG is going to burn through you like a knife through butter.
Yeah, it definitely caught Tox off guard there, but you got to remember with that nail room, you can hear audio cues from numerous different places from numerous distances. And it's one of the best places to hold if you're on a defensive player. But he was in there, he was just trying to get his health back, just got caught off guard a little bit. But as we say that, Raisy with the LG is going to try and come in. Tox is so weak at this point, just doing ring around the Rosie to try and stay alive. Surely he can't get away with this. No, of course he won't. As Raisy finally get the frag lead he was so desperately needed. But it looks like Tox is going to try and go for this LG fight, but fakes out the orb and managed to back down.
Tox, low on stack, lucky to be alive, begins to find himself a couple of items to replenish that. Will find the light and start to build himself back up. Raisy going straight in though, doing what he does best, packing a shotgun and just going to fill him full of buckshot.
But at least with Anarchy, he can chase him down when necessary. It depends on Raisy's ore placements. But so far, he's having a good stack. Tox is still going to try and challenge him. He's desperate for that frag, but it's some good damage to those tripods. My word. Full damage there. But what is Raisy going to do? He's doing exactly what we expected, just trying to replenish just a little bit. But listen out for those audio cues. Trying to keep Tox guessing as to where he will be. But players at this level will definitely make the assumption that you will be in that room. But will Tox maybe use the tribal to try and feed himself some information? No, he won't. He's just going to walk around to see what he can find. Is he going to bait out the heavy? Yes, he does, but I think he just managed to barely get it. My word, that's one way to get the heavy.
Yeah, sickeningly good way to get back into the game at least. And ooh, rockets whizzing by, both of them trading blows. They're both quite low on the stack. Raisy willing to dirty the timing here with the Mega as well, as he wants to wait for the right opportunity to pick it up. Now snatches it, dives up, barely makes the jump back up onto the lip, and will go down as Tox will fly on over there on the Anarchy to punish him.
Perfect time as well. Managed to get that heavy to help himself out a little bit. That Mega will be coming up soon, but it decides to stay there early. Depending on the progression, but that's the perfect way to go in for the LG. But as I say that, Raisy's shotgun was phenomenal. He's going to pick that up, may go for the Mega. Yes, he will. And it's back to, I was going to say it's down, mate, but Top just barely missed that rail. Let's get one. He's going to try and get shotgun. Managed to rail him again. Just one more. Raisy, oh wow, I'm actually quite surprised he went in for that. But, you know, sometimes it is worth the risk. Will he actually survive the rail shot? Will he won't? But his shotgun's just been looking so good. But as I say that, Raisy gets to trade.
6-4 now, 5 minutes in. 2 frag difference. Tox, definitely potential for him to be able to bring it back. As you said, he's on the Anarchy, so if it comes to being able to chase, he's definitely got the faster champion when it comes to the raw speed. The only real escape potential for Raisy will be the Dire Orb. It's currently on cooldown, still got 30 seconds to go, so unless he goes on a bit of a mission to farm those vials, then he's not going to get it up anytime soon. Nice rocket placement as Tox is flying into these, taking a ton of damage. Raisy's left with just 10 HP. Luckily, he's able to scavenge a few things to build it back up, but he's worse for wear.
That one rail could have really changed things there, but he will get the Mega anyway, as Raisy has to back down. But what is he going to do? He's still got plenty of time. He's got to somehow try and waste these next 4 minutes. But even then, with the Anarchy, he can easily get chased down. As the heavy is still up, he's assuming that Raisy's trying to bait him out, but managed to get it anyway. But Tox is looking very healthy in terms of his stack. Nice rail from him. He's going to try and rotate around to see if he can pick him off. Ooh. Yes, he did. Lovely rail from Tox there to try and clean things up. And now it's only 1 frag apiece between these two.
Shot zipping by, a dive in as he's looking to fully commit. Dire Orb's in on the entry, was hoping to punish and get another kill onto Tox. Instead though, realizes that it's not worth the risk and has to back off over towards the heavy. Beautiful lightning gun work. Tox stripping him down so low as he's looking to try and rip and tear his way through Raisy. Instead, we fall back into a little bit more of a lull, a little bit more quiet time to work with as Raisy's just evading him, not willing to actually commit into a fight right now that doesn't favour him. Dire Orb in to steal away the light, will be able to snatch it to put his stack back into a bit of a better position, and now Tox is the one who's playing from the back foot.
That was a very cheeky light armor pickup. I'm surprised he took that risk, but then again, if he knows he's going to stand on that rocket spawn, then you know what? Why not? Completely understandable, but he's still so weak. He could take a rail, but he's trying to do that chip damage. 2 rails, will he get a third? Do you know what? Raisy's like, I'm not having none of it. I'm not going to let you have it third time lucky. As both... Oh! I talk about the rails and Raisy, my word. That was another very tiny gap to try and get the pick off, and he manages to do it. I think Tox won't be too happy about that, but does have the LG on him. Raisy's just trying to clean up, but oh my word, Tox's rail has just been phenomenal. And it's the matter is, will he actually chase him down? He gets railed off, but just needs one more to try and clean up. Doesn't matter, gets the shotgun out, and Raisy increases his lead 8-5.
And this is where things could potentially start to snowball out of control. We've seen it happen in the past. They keep it close for a good majority of the game, and then Raisy starts to get his confidence up and begins to really balloon. Although Tox has bit back straight away. Ooh, okay. It looked like maybe it was the start of something new, but he's just taken a ton of damage. It's left his stack in a horrible spot. Raisy's already starting to build his to new heights. Tox, he'll fight over control of the Mega, but Raisy's got it. Although he dives in! It's the worst possible play! Tox with an LG, he just got close to him and set him up for success. 60 seconds for one frag. That's all Tox needs to tie it up.
Oh no, when he teleported with the orb, he had his back turned, so it gave Tox a massive advantage, and he's just trying to stay alive. He may be able to, but one rail could definitely do it, but it's going to push straight in anyway. Yes, he does. He tie things up. A-tool. Well played there by Tox.
This is big. 50 seconds left. One frag is all they require to be able to seal the deal, essentially, and win this map. That's what it's going to come down to. Tox, he has the better stack. But what does he opt to do? He doesn't have the injection up. It's not going to be up for another 20 seconds for Raisy. He's got the Dire Orb for an escape if necessary. And he's sneaking up the back passage. He hasn't realized that he's creeping up the stairs. Turns the corner, looks for the initiation, goes for the Dire Orb as a bit of a fake, delays it with the timing, leaps across to snatch away the heavy, and we are going into sudden death, it seems.
The timing of on that hourglass ramp was ridiculous. It was literally just an extra half a second he had to wait for. But he's still been very aggressive, trying to keep him back. And Raisy must realise what the stack he's on. But oh my goodness, I don't think this sudden death will last long, depending on how Tox is going to get out of this one. Will he be able to? Yes, he does. Very lucky to get out of it. But one rail can really hurt him here. But Raisy does get that heavy. The stack's looking good for him. But Tox needs to be a bit more cautious on his next plays.
Tox used all of his rocket ammunition there to try and deny a push from Raisy, hoping that he'd then be able to dive in and get the Mega if Raisy went for an all-out attack. Instead, Raisy played smart, just held and wait for the opportunity. He's now been able to achieve both of the major items, has a much better stack than what Tox has left. Also, Tox is down to only 3 rockets left. Luckily, he is in the room, so if he needs to grab an extra box of ammo, he can. Probably going to be the play before he does anything else, as he's just using them right now to scout.
But Tox is very good with that chip damage and trying to keep him at bay. But at the moment, Raisy's trying to do the same thing, even though he's got the bigger stack. But the rockets, look at that. Is he going to push straight in? Yes, he does. My words. That really could have gone either way, even though Raisy had the slight height advantage there. But it's the LG there. Both these players are just trying to do everything they can. He does go into the health orbs at the time, but still, Tox managed to take it, even though he LG'd him into those health orbs. So like I said, the accuracy of this man is just phenomenal. And as you can see from the damage, 1,000 more for Tox. He really showed that map presence, even though Raisy had most of the items throughout the entire game. That's the blood runs, you know, I love to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's madness if you think about the fact that Tox pretty much had more damage throughout the entire series, yet fell on 2 maps that obviously, you know, keep a little bit different, much more in favour. Awoken, though, a tighter affair. It seemed much more down to the wire. It seemed like it really could have gone either way. And again, here now, in sudden death, going the way of Tox, that's a surprising victory. That's a big win to have under your belt as well, because at this point, you know, it's getting to the level where taking maps off Raisy is a feat, and that's exactly what's come through. Tox, he looked damn good today. A lot to take away, most of it positive for the series. Obviously being a 2-1 win for Raisy, he is going to get the majority of the points, but I think in terms of talking points, it's the fact that Tox, he's come, he's shown up, and he looked damn good.
He looked phenomenal. Like, honestly, it's great to see Tox play like this, because when I do watch him play or see him play on certain scenarios, it's a shame about the lack of consistency we normally see from time and time again. One day it's a 50-50 chance he'll be on form, sometimes he won't. But he was on form today. Yes, sure, fair enough, he lost 2-1, but he's shown progress and he really wants to do damage in this league. So I think Tox just take everything away and realise what he's done well. And I think he doesn't need to work on his mistakes. Just go back and watch what he done well so he knows what to do going forth in his future matchups.
Yeah, especially like against Raisy. So much to learn and look at from this, as he's played fantastically. I think the other key takeaway from it is as well is that it was the aggression that he displayed. Something that I think maybe Raisy wasn't expecting. You know, obviously a lot of the players he's played in the past probably do show him a lot of respect in the way they approach it, knowing the level of lethality this man has. Whereas Tox, he instead just went in swinging, trying to take every viable fight, even when he had the worst stack, when he had less weaponry. He went in headstrong, and you know what? It paid off.
One of the best LGs in the game, you know. It's just a beauty to watch him. Like, you know, even for the last fight, he was at the disadvantage and still managed to take it. It's just great work from him. And I want to see that version of Tox every series. If I do, like, you know, I'd watch him absolutely constantly, no doubt about it. But he's just missing something. There were some matches where he's missing that glimmer of light. You know, there's something there which he probably needs to work on and needs to try and work out for himself, which he probably does realise, but just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, well, if we're looking for improvements, obviously, over the stage now, with the fact that he's been able to keep himself in the Pro League up to this point, he's still looking better and better. Obviously, coming in today of a game versus Raisy, normally you'd expect Raisy to just absolutely 3-0, be able to, you know, demolish his way through any opponent. He kept it close the entire time. It also goes as a 2-1, so still that's one map that he's taken away. That's a good performance. It's definitely nice to see him show up like that. And then for Raisy, it's the fact that, for the most part, he still looked like the absolute demigod that he is. It's hard to ever really do much against Raisy, right?
Yeah, he's just a difficult opponent for anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. And I think with Tox now, the problem is it's the confidence issue. Now, with your aim, if you've got a solid aim and you know exactly that your gun skill is top notch, it gives you the kind of power to at least make those aggressive plays, to at least let you know that you can make certain things you couldn't do. If you know your rail's not very good or your rocket's a little bit off, it makes you play defensive. It makes you think twice about certain moves you want to make. But if your gun skill is absolutely, you know, very hard to the bar, then, you know, you can literally do anything. And you saw some of the fast rails he normally does. We've seen him do it quite often on some Awoken matchups, but you even saw then he was really showing up, and it's just fantastic to see.
Oh, it was indeed. And more fantastic games coming up tonight as well. Of course, we do have another one after this. Game 5, Effortless versus Chain. A rematch where Effortless wants to prove that he can do more. Obviously, falling short to Chain on LAN in Poland. Harry, can he come around this time? Will he be able to dethrone Chain?
It's a big ask, but at the same time, Effortless has said in the past, I don't want to be one of those players in the North American scene where I have to battle for relegation every single time. I don't want to be one of those players. I don't want to be sitting in the bottom 2, bottom 3 all the time thinking, like, what on earth do I need to do? He wants to be one of the top players in the NA scene. He's seen Dramus progress well. We've seen Chain, especially in the Stage 2 finals. A lot of these North American players have really been going on in the uppy up. And even in Nosfer, he's still working on exactly his movement and how to do things. But we've seen him earlier today just playing phenomenally well. And then with Zeneku, takes a bit of time, but what he has there is a glimmer of hope. There is something there for Zeneku. It's just a matter of how he progresses further during Stage 3.
Well, we'll find out if that is going to be a different story or more of the same, with Chain laying the smack down, or if it'll be Effortless for Effortless. We'll be back in with that after the break.